Okay, good morning, everyone. I am going to make cinnamon sugar Bowknots this morning, and I have my ingredients out. So you need to get flaky biscuits. You need to have cinnamon and sugar, butter, and honey. That's all you need. My hair is back, and my chef coat is on, and I have washed my hands for 20 seconds. So now I preheated my oven to 400, and now I covered my cookie sheet with parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper. That's what can go into the oven. So the directions say to melt the butter in a small mixing bowl in the microwave. So I wanted to show you this before I did it. The butter has the 8 tablespoons marked. 1 stick of butter is equal to a half a cup. The recipe calls for a fourth a cup. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this recipe has been made for a lab group of 4 students if we were at school. So this is going to be the amount to make it. The nice thing is you can always go back to you can always melt more butter if you need it. I'm gonna cover it with the microwave and microwave it for 30 seconds. If you need, obviously for making more batches, you would need to check the time to make sure it's the right amount of time. The directions say you can also use wax paper to cover it, just so it doesn't splatter. You could actually use parchment as well, but something to cover it so it doesn't splatter. And then I'll give it 10 more seconds if it hasn't thawed all the way. Not thawed, melted. Okay, so now I need to get my bowl to do my sugar mixture. I should have had that out. Okay, 1/4 a cup of sugar. Sugar doesn't get packed, so you can just scoop it right in there. You can use the back of a knife, or you can use a flat edge like I have. So that's my 1/4 a cup. Remember, anytime the recipe calls for sugar, it is the white granulated sugar, not the brown sugar or powdered sugar, unless they ask for it. Okay, and now it says a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I hear that my microwave ended. I'll just go ahead and use this napkin I have because I don't have another bowl, but you should have something so that you can measure over it, so that the extra doesn't go into the item you're measuring. So that's my cinnamon. And then I'm just going to level it again. It's my measuring spoons. That's a teaspoon. That works. Make sure you put the top back on securely. I like to push the items out of the way when I'm done with them, just so I have more space. Okay, and now just so I don't dirty other stuff up, I'm just gonna stir it with my flat edge. All right, so that's my cinnamon and sugar mixture. The biggest mistake students make when we go to school and do this is that they use a tablespoon of cinnamon. Remember, the teaspoon is little t or TSP. That 30 seconds was the perfect amount of time for my melted butter. Now, if you don't have dishes like this at home, you could use custard cups as well, or bowls, just to make sure you have what you need. Put that back on my dirty napkin. Okay, so now the fun part comes. We are going to pop this open. I got this actually at Aldi, but you can get any brand. You just have to make sure it says flaky biscuits, because then it makes it easier to split them. So if I make the whole batch, I'll show you guys, then the whole batch is going to make 16. Keep in mind, you never want to, there's 8 biscuits, you never want to try to like seal it and saran wrap it and keep it in the refrigerator, because this is not going to last. You just want to make them all, enjoy them, share them, and then that way, these actually are the best fresh. You don't want to make it ahead of time and warm it up. Okay, so then you're gonna take your biscuit, as the directions say, and you're gonna open up the 2 biscuits. And you're gonna do that with each of these. So I'm just gonna leave that. I'm just gonna show you with one and then we'll see the end result. Okay, then it says to push the biscuits. I hope you guys can see that well, yes. I'm gonna move these because we're gonna go over to our wax paper, so we always wanna keep that in mind. And you can do it actually with both. Just spread it out. I'll show you with 2. So if we were in the lab setting, each person would have their own biscuit. You pinch it after you make it into that, and you twist. And then that becomes like a bow tie. So then you're going to just dip the one side in the melted butter, and you can dip it into the sugar. Now, recently I have, in past semesters, I have allowed students to do a garlic parmesan one too, that I will include the recipe in my website so that you guys have that. And that goes really well with meals like pasta or something that's savory. This is sweet, but if you want to have something that goes well with like pasta or the pasta bake that we make or spaghetti, then that's super good. You want both sides, and then you just lay it on the cookie sheet. And then you'll continue to do the rest until all of the biscuits are completed and finished. And then you're going to bake it for, take the butter off my hands, 5 to 8 minutes. I will show you in a little bit what it looks like. Okay, so now the cinnamon Bowknots are out of the oven. They baked for a little bit longer than 8 minutes. I'd say 9, and about at halfway you can switch it. So if I had the cinnamon Bowknots, one on the top and one on the bottom, because there's 2 different trays, and I switched it after 4 minutes so that the bottom ones went to the top shelf and the top the top rack items went to the bottom, so there's even distribution. So now, and cooking, now that they're golden brown, I mixed the rest of my butter. I actually had to add more butter because remember I was doing the recipe that really is calling for 4 people, 4 biscuits. I made the whole 8 biscuits, so which means you're gonna have to probably melt butter to have enough to do your cinnamon sugar mixture. So make that mixture double to start out, or you can, instead of a 1/4 cup sugar, you would use a 1/2 cup, or you can just do it when you run out. Now this is a little bit, just maybe a tablespoon of butter with some honey, and I'm just gonna brush the tops with it. You do not have to do this. This is completely optional. It does give it a nice, honey taste to it, but you don't have to do that. Or you could do some with and some without. And if you were doing this with the garlic, the savory one, then you would want to do that with garlic powder and the extra butter. All right, so enjoy your cinnamon Bowknots and practice your safety.